Welcome to the Geek Cabal podcast, Cabal Whisperings. This is episode 31. I'm Bobbie.
I'm Owen.
I'm Chad.
And so we got some stuff to talk about today. Just very briefly in channel news, it's basically just been horror movie videos lately because we're filming this November 2nd. It's near Halloween. That's horror movie time. It's still going to be horror movie time because I recorded a lot of videos. So they're going to keep on coming. Unfortunately, I did not get to record the one I meant to record for yesterday, though. Yesterday was El Dia de los Muertos.
Oh.
For those of you who don't speak Spanish, that's the Day of the Dead. And I was going to record a video about George Romero's Day of the Dead, but I didn't get around to it. So
It's still Day of the Dead. It's November 2nd.
It's November 1st, isn't it?
It's November 1st and November 2nd.
Well, why is it called
how is it
Dias?
Day of the Dead when it should be Days of the Dead then?
Maybe that would explain why Chris said it was a Day of the Dead miracle that I found my overpower cards. Oh, and I'm going to believe you on this one.
Well, I mean, I'm actively taking a Spanish class, so...
That's better than me.
I took mine 20 years ago, so... 20 años.
So for your horror movie videos, did you make it to watch Terrifier 3? A Christmas movie?
No, I've not watched Terrifier 1 or 2.
You poor thing.
I've seen, what's the anthology that Art the Clown comes from? Whatever it is, I've seen part of the first
The Ninth Circle.
one. No.
That's a segment in it that he's from, though.
Yeah, I've seen the one where, like, the babysitter finds the VHS tape and, like, finds a bunch of random murders on it, and, like, the last one is him, and then he, like, shows up at the house, like, literally, like, crawls out of the TV kind of thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
I need to find this and watch it.
It was on Shudder, so...
I need your Shudder account.
I've sent it to you, like, 3 times.
No, you haven't.
Really not?
No!
That's been I'll send it to you.
And you know what you haven't sent me?
Bricklink stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, I meant you, like, all week. So, as you folks can tell, I'm a little behind. It's because I've been filming horror movie videos. But, yeah. So, yeah, I've got a few more left, and Levi wants to, if he ever gets over to the house, even though he lives next door to me now, and so there's no excuse for him not coming over for the last month, we're going to record one about Scream, because that's his favorite horror movie.
He's busy.
Yeah,
Let him be busy.
I guess. But someone bought a movie on my Voodoo account. I'm trying to figure out who did it.
Not me.
Well, I know it wasn't you.
I don't have your Voodoo login either.
Well, I know. If I didn't give you my Shudder login, I didn't give you my Voodoo login either.
I don't know what a voodoo is, so...
So you're ruled out. It's literally either Sarah or Levi, or I somehow, at 4 in the morning, managed to hit the right combination of buttons on my controls to get to a movie, first to get to Voodoo, then to get to a movie, then to rent it, then to confirm that I wanted to rent it.
What movie?
Long Legs. I consider this a highly unlikely chain of events, especially since now it says watch again.
So someone rented it and watched it.
Yes. And whoever was the last person to activate something on my account, I deactivated it. So, pretty sure it's Levi. Which means he owes me $8.
$8?
Yeah. It's a new movie.
Oh.
So it's a rental,
You know, you can get on Amazon Prime and rent a movie for like $25 if it's new.
Yeah, that's what Romulus is still. Alien Romulus?
Yeah.
That's why I'm just going to wait till the Blu-ray, which I found it doesn't come out till like December 3rd. So I've been looking at it for no reason at Walmart.
Well,
I'm just going to buy the Blu-ray plus digital copy. So then I'll have a physical copy. So I can loan out 20 you two to watch it. So we can talk about it.
at the time of this recording, in like 10 days, Deadpool and Wolverine goes on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So just wait till 10 days after it comes out in stores and you can watch it probably somewhere else.
On Disney Plus.
Yeah.
It's Alien Romulus. It's a Fox movie.
Which means it's a Disney movie.
Yeah, but I don't think their other movies are on there. I think they actually have a Fox streaming service. Or it's on Hulu.
Probably on Hulu.
Well, I don't have Hulu, so.
I do.
Okay.
Kinda.
Maybe. Kind of.
It's tied in with the Disney Plus account. The Disney Plus account's in limbo at the moment because the card it was tied to expired.
I believe we're getting sidetracked here.
So it's at that place that the main villain from the Black Hole wound up at the end of the movie. in his red robot, like in Robo Hell.
Yep.
You ever see the Black Hole?
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Would you ever watch the Black Hole?
It's a great Disney movie.
You should watch it. It's like a weird sci-fi horror movie from Disney from the 70s.
Yeah, it is great.
Yeah, that sounds like something Disney would do back in the 70s.
Well, they also made Something Wicked This Way Comes, which is a straight-up horror movie. And, like, it's nowhere to be found online, so... Because I want to rewatch it, because I think I've seen it before. But anyway, so lots of horror movies. Probably going to get back into diversifying, because I was doing a bunch of, like, 90s sci-fi movies that I was finding on Amazon Prime. So I'm probably getting a little diversity on, you know, beyond horror. Even though it's my favorite genre, and there's plenty left to talk about. That's been most of the videos, aside from our last podcast video and our last one.
Toys, Tabletop, and Beyond.
Which the last one we recorded isn't up yet. I'm trying to space them out. That's why we recorded it, so we have some padding. Yes, it'll go up after this one. I want to try to alternate it.
Okay.
So, but yeah. Other than that, I've done a handful of like just random topics, like who really controls our culture? Well, who really owns our culture? That's how I phrased it. I mean, like legally, like Disney owns Star Wars, but aren't they under some kind of cultural obligation to like maintain it, to like give us what we actually want? I mean, I know there's no like legal obligation. Obviously, it's more of a metaphorical, like, you know, they're entrusted with this thing that matters. You know, that kind of stuff. A few other videos like that. I've tried recording videos about toxic fandoms and gatekeeping, but it just ends up with me ranting and yelling, and so I haven't put any of those up yet. I've got like 4 different versions of each of those. One of these days we're going to talk about it here, because I think that'll slow my roll on the ranting and yelling part. Probably not today. So yeah, that's about it, I think. That's been going on with the channel lately. There was my top 10 favorite Star Wars books video. That seemed to gain some traction. I should go back and like do reviews of each of the books and not just my little like 5-minute blurb for each one.
Mm-hmm.
That will unfortunately probably require me to reread them because it's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
There was definitely a whole lot of, I think this is what happened in this book. You know, like Shadows of the Empire, the one that actually was canon at one point. You know that book has a soundtrack CD. Yeah, no, Shadows of the Empire was considered canon, like per Lucas, like G-level canon, because George Lucas totally knew about the story, he totally backed it. Had the video game, toys, soundtrack, the novel, it had everything. I've got the soundtrack, pretty good, especially for a non-John Williams soundtrack. But yeah, so anyway, that's most of what's going on with channel news. So, on to our topics at hand. Chad, let's start with you.
It's a simple question for you two. Is there any value in going back to old media? Let's put it that way. Watch an old TV series, watch an old movie, play an old video game.
So, just to clarify, what kind of value are we talking here? Like personal growth, like understanding? Is this an open-ended thing?
Kind of open-ended. But my thought was honestly linking, like, you had Transformers Rise of the Beast, the live-action movie. Is there any worth going back to, say, Beast Wars to see where Optimus Primal and everyone first originated?
Okay.
Or, yeah.
All right. Well, I tell you what. Owen, I'm going to let you answer first if you want to.
Because you are the one that would have the better viewpoint on answering this question.
Well, I mean, I suppose it depends on what you clarify old. Like, some old video games I've played just to, well, see what they were like. Like, in most games on the NES, well, I haven't played a lot of them. I've played maybe a couple here and there, like Duck Hunt or Mario Bros. But I see myself playing it now for fun? Not really, but I can see at the time why people would have gotten enjoyment out of that. I mean, there are some, like, older games that I do find enjoyment out of, like actual enjoyment. I'd like to go back and play them. Like, well, in 64 games, like, I played GoldenEye a while back. I enjoyed that. I'd play that again.
A classic. Many a nights were spent playing GoldenEye.
Or, like, well, I don't really know. I mean, some games I go back and play for enjoyment. Some I play just to see, well, what was it like?
What about things other than games? Older books, older movies.
I mean, barring, reading for school, like how to read Catcher in the Rye.
I never did read that.
Yeah, then did I.
Well, I mean, I suppose I haven't read a lot of old books. I mean, I've read a couple, I would say. It mainly just depends on, like, the material. Like, I haven't read any, like, I enjoy sci-fi. I haven't read any old sci-fi books, not because I hate them or don't want to, just because I haven't really, thought of that. I don't have any.
Should read Dune
Yep,
and then Starship Troopers.
definitely Starship Troopers. Okay, so there's currently comics out for, I think, Silverhawks, and I think Thundercats is coming. Would you see any reason to watch the old 80s cartoons to see where those came from?
I believe that that would be worth it. I mean, even obviously, if you find enjoyment out of it, it'd be worth it a lot more. But even just watching a couple episodes just to see what it was like, I think could be worthwhile.
Well, my answer is going to come as no surprise to anyone that's watched any of the videos on our channel, since I now have a category for 70s horror movies, and I wasn't alive in the 70s. So, my answer is yes. Though, like what Owen's saying, it does depend. Like, okay, we have the advantage. There's a phrase for it. And I can't remember what it is, but we have the advantage of the fact that we have like the distilled essence of the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. We know what the cream of the crop was. We're not the ones having to sort through the crap to find the diamonds in the rough. They've already been found. So we have that advantage. Although searching occasionally yields results. Like I just did a video on a movie called Martin, which is a very, very like unknown movie that George Romero made. It's not a zombie movie. He actually made several not zombie movies.
Wait, the vampire movie.
Yes, the vampire movie. Like, that's a very unknown movie. And on Tubi, by the way. So I had to watch it with commercials. I mean, I have a physical copy, but
Yeah,
I
you
don't
loaned
have
it to me to watch, and I watched it.
Yeah, what'd you think of it?
It's an interesting movie.
Yeah, and the guy that plays his older cousin in the movie, the old man he moves in with,
Yeah.
he's only in like one other movie, and it's also a George Romero movie.
What movie?
It's called The Amusement Park. That is a horrifying movie, by the way.
Really?
Yes, the old man like starts off in this room where there's like another version of him all beat up and everything, and he's like, "No, don't go out there." And he's like, "Well, I'm going to check it out." And he leaves, and it's set up like an amusement park, but it's literally like his mind slipping.
Oh.
And so it's like all the society just like, "Oh, screw you, old man!" Like they're telling people the rules, and he tries to do something. No, the rules have changed, and he ends up all beaten up. And the end of the movie is him going into the room all beaten up and trying to warn himself. And he's like, "No, I'm going out to check it out." So it's just this doom loop that he's in. And it's one of those like, this is terrifying because I know this is what it's like to lose your mind in your end stages. Like, the other horror, that's weird, like,
Probably never going to happen
That's
to me.
weird supernatural horror that's never going to happen. That's probably the fate coming for all of us. And it's like, good Lord.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, they found that. They put it on Shudder like about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's a perfect example right there. Yes. But yeah, I mean, you want to be selective. Like, is it good to watch, say, the original Star Trek show? Yes, there's a lot of good stuff there. There's some crap in there, but there's a lot of good stuff. Is it good to, say, watch T.J. Hooker? Well, I mean, if you want to see William Shatner as a police officer in L.A., go for it, but that's about all the entertainment, that's about all you're really going to get out of it.
Yeah.
Chips, you'll get a few cultural references, and it's a moderately entertaining show, but, like, it's a cop drama. It just happens to be like the guys are on motorcycles in California highway patrol. That's Chips. But I think, like, older books still obviously have value. I mean, I can think of one that's approximately 2,000 years old that most people seem to put value in.
Yeah.
I can think of one older one that people should read, written by a Chinese gentleman by the name of Sun Tzu.
Oh, The Art of War.
Yes. Although, for those of you watching who've never read it, I'm going to summarize it in under 2 minutes for you to save you the trouble. All war is deception. When you're strong, appear weak. When you're weak, appear strong. You remember those things? That's the bulk of the book. The rest is just kind of elaborating on those facts.
I was just going to say, never go into a fight you don't know you're going to win.
Well, yeah, I mean, there is that.
Also, alternatively, supply lines are important. Don't forget about those.
Yeah, there's supply lines. I mean, like, there's a bunch of other stuff, like, death of the enemy spy, and all kinds of crop yields and all this kind of stuff. But the thrust of the book is all war is deception. That's the important thing you need to take away from it. Just like I can tell you the important thing to take away from Machiavelli's The Prince. I've read it too. Also a book worth checking out, even though it was written in the 1500s. People know the quote, but they don't understand the context. The whole, it's better to be feared than to be loved. That's not the whole quote, first of all. It's better to be feared than to be loved if you have to choose. But also there's the reasoning behind it. If people fear you, you know what they'll do because they fear you. If people love you, they can betray you. You won't see it coming because you don't expect it. But also the other tenet, be feared, but don't become hated. Because someone that hates you will destroy themselves to see you destroyed. And it's tough to fight that. So, I just saved you a whole lot of reading. 2 classics there, folks. But you should read them anyway, though. They are good. But yeah, I mean, there's clearly wisdom to be gained from older books. Like Plato's The Republic and everything. Mankind hasn't changed in 2,500 years. We have shinier toys.
Yeah.
But how did one guy explain it? We have the brain of a monkey, the not the manners, the mentality, something like mentality. It'll come to me here in a minute. Of like the Dark Ages and nuclear weapons. Like, we have a terrible combination of traits.
Yep.
So, good luck, us. But yeah. And then the older video games, obviously, if you want to see where things came from. Personally, I think Mario peaked in Super Nintendo. I know that's a hot take, but, Super Mario World.
I think that is pretty genuine. Like,
yeah, I mean, like, later games are great, but I think Mario World is like, that's it. That's the thing.
I think racing games peaked with Lego Racer.
I mean, I will say the exception, Mario Party hadn't come out yet, so, because Mario Party is great for breaking up friendships.
It is.
Similar to Settlers of Catan.
And Risk.
And Risk. Yeah.
Like, some games definitely peaked back then. Maybe some haven't. Some are only getting better.
Well, Star Wars Battlefront peaked with Star Wars Battlefront 2 in 2007.
Oh, I was actually talking to one of the girls that works for this now, Becky. I think she's 20. and because her phone, her text message sound is R2, and it got blasted by like an
Yeah.
ion blaster with a high pitched squeal. I was like, "So Baker, you a Star Wars fan?" She's like, "Well, I play Star Wars Battlefront." I was like, "Which one?" She's like, "2, I think." I go, "Which one?" She's like, "What do you mean?" I go, "There's 2 Star Wars Battlefront 2." She's like, "What?"
And 2 Star Wars Battlefront.
I was like, "Yeah, the other one's like older than you are, I think. We're close to it." And she's like, Close to it. It's not quite." And she's like, "No, it's definitely not that one then." I go, "Well, that's the one you need to play. It's the better one."
It is.
Oh, not the modern Star Wars Battlefront 2.
No.
No. Although I should actually play it before I disparage it and not just listen to online comments.
I
But
have played some of it. I still think the 2007 one's the better one.
Star Wars Battlefront 2 in 2017. It's a fine game, but if it had gotten more support past like 2 years, it'd probably be better because they just kind of stopped development.
well, that is one thing that old games have to their advantage. Almost all of them are at least complete.
Yeah. Yeah, Battlefront 2 from 2007.
Except for Knights of the Old Republic 2.
Yes, there are exceptions. It is still an excellent game. Like, that's a testament to how well the game is made. The fact it doesn't have an ending, and I still consider it better than the first one.
Because it is.
Yeah, like a philosophical level. There's actually things to think about in the dialogue. Like the first one's great with Revan and all that. Credit where credit's due. But the second one really gets into the philosophy of like, well, what does the Force actually mean to people? Is it actually limiting the Jedi and the Sith? Things like real like thoughts, real discussion. So I just wish it had an ending. But the game just stops. I mean, I throw Kreia into a pit, then it just shows like Malcor 5 from space, and done. It's like, well, I guess we're all still alive or dead or something. Who knows?
Well, no, the canon ending is that you fly off the planet.
Yeah, I've read the Revan book, so I know the canon ending. And the Revan book pisses me off to no end, but
Why?
it was written by the guy who wrote Knights of the Old Republic 1. Drew Capirishin, and again, decent writer, because he wrote the Darth Bane trilogy, which is excellent. The problem is, Revan, the book, was meant to set up something from the Old Republic video game. So, it's essentially like, let's take the character from the Old Republic 2 and just screw them over in the worst way possible, and then we'll leave Revan alive. And it's like parts of it, I'm just like, you're just upset that the second game gets more accolades than yours, and now you're going to screw over the characters because of it. And it has that energy to it, because the main enemy is the Sith Emperor, who has an ability very similar to Darth Nihilus's. Okay, suck the life force out of stuff. And who defeated Nihilus?
The Jedi Exile.
Yeah, the Exile, because she essentially had the same power. Okay,
yeah.
It's like a vacuum trying to suck against the vacuum. So she's going up against the Sith Emperor, and there's some random Sith dude that's helping her out, who just out of nowhere gets a vision. It's like, you should backstab her right now. And so he does. It's like, what the hell is this? Like, that's how the character from the second game gets killed. Some random Sith goober just stabs her in the back when she's the one who could defeat the Sith Emperor right here and now. And it's like, what the hell is this? I almost threw the book across the room at that point.
I mean, with how broken your character can get in the Knights of the Old Republic 2.
Yeah.
Should just place down a bunch of mines and let them into it.
Yeah. I mean, it was just so awful. But, the rest of the book was fine, but it's just like, God damn it. And just the whole time, I know this is because this guy is just pissed off that Knights of the Old Republic 2 gets higher acclaim. And so he's going to take this chance to just screw over the main character. It's like, that is so petty. So, anyway. But yeah, I mean, overall, now, for me, it has limits. I'm not going to go back and play Atari games.
You want to go back and play Pong?
Well, I might play Pong. I might make an exception for Pong. But I'm not going back and playing, what is it, where you're trying to swing across the pits? Pitfall. Should figure that out. So, I mean, there's limits. As far as movies, I tend to tap out around the 60s. Like, I'll watch some older movies. Like, I've watched parts of Nosferatu. I really should watch the whole thing.
There's a remake coming.
And I went to go watch The Wizard of Oz in theaters at the beginning of this year, and that's a movie from the 30s. You know, so I mean, I do watch really old movies. You know, like I have the Maltese Falcon on DVD. It's good. I like Humphrey Bogart. Maltese Falcon's good. The Treasure of Sierra Madre, Casablanca, they're all great. But there's very limited for what I watch from that far back.
Because you're getting the campiness.
Well, I mean, just some of them. Some of I know that there are others that are better on both a technical and an acting level, and it's not so much the black and white, because black and white can look beautiful, but it's just some of the other techniques that are involved that, like, you know, like I get how in the 20s this wowed people for sure, but like now it's like, So I don't know. Like I said, I've got my limits.
I mean,
I have my limits as well. I love the show Reboot, but
There we go. There's a blast from the past.
it's that same era as Beast Wars. That early CGI roughness. In Reboot, I find that endearing. Like, I can overlook it because they're supposed to be computer programs.
Right.
I can't watch Beast Wars because of that.
It's been a long time since I watched Beast Wars, so I can't say to that. I can speak to Babylon 5. Did you ever watch much of that?
It's not a lot.
Yeah, that's also like a little bit later in the 90s. All the effects were done on a laptop. So like at the time, I was like, you know, these aren't terrible. You know, like clearly Deep Space Nine's effects are looking better. But these aren't terrible, and the story is spectacular, so I don't care.
Yeah.
But because Babylon 5, like as much as I love Deep Space Nine, like I talked about it a lot on here, Babylon 5 has the much better story. It's almost like Lord of the Rings in space. Okay? Like it has a very mythological quality to it, even though it's a sci-fi show, because it eventually gets involved in like the first ones, the races that have been around since almost the dawn of time, and some of them are still left in the galaxy. There's two in particular who you find out like this is like the thrust of the whole plot is that these two races every couple thousand years decide they're going to play out their game to see which one has the philosophical edge. The Vorlons believe in control and order. The Shadows believe in chaos. Believe that's how things evolve. Come out every 1,000 years, kick over the ant hills. Whoever survives will be stronger 1,000 years down the road. And so they've been doing this for a long time. And they generally work via manipulating the races instead of acting directly. But something happens this time. They decide that it's time to settle this for good and all. They're going to fight each other directly. And both of them have all kinds of ships that can just totally annihilate planets because they've been around for thousands and thousands of years. And it's up to the other races to basically tell them, get the hell out of our galaxy. We don't need you anymore.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. And there's, of course, you know, big character moments all along the way and things like that. So, like I said, there's a very mythological edge to it because there are things that border on magic that happen. There's literally a group called Techno Mages who have advanced technology that's so advanced that it looks like magic.
Cool.
And things like that. So it's a very awesome show. The only problem was it had a 5-year story arc. They thought it was going to be canceled at the end of season 4, so they compressed the last bit of it, and then the show got renewed. So they had to like just make up season 5. It wasn't ever supposed to have what we see in season 5 wasn't originally what was going to be in season 5. It was just going to be the last bit of the show drawn out more. So they had to make a new season 5. So season 5 is a little weak. Then they tried to make a spin-off show, and it kind of worked. I thought it was interesting, but it didn't really go anywhere. So, and there's several TV movies too.
I mean, yeah, like old movies. Am I gonna like watch them from the 30s, 40s, 50s? Probably not. But like,
That's Wizard of Oz.
When was the Ten Commandments made?
Say the 50s. I could be wrong. Could be the 60s. I think it's.
That's a great movie.
It is.
Well, listen, I understand that there's diamond. Well, like I'll watch like the big movies, but like
Yeah, I wouldn't expect anyone alive today to just be like to start randomly picking movies from the 20s and 30s to watch. It's going to be, you know, The Wizard of Oz, Gone with the Wind, uh, like I said, the Humphrey Bogart type movies. You know, then you're going to get like Ten Commandments, movies like that.
I mean, I suppose that's
Ben Hur, maybe.
almost exactly what I've been doing because like for no reason out of all, I just want to watch a spaghetti western, so I chose well the one you recommended to me, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
A classic.
Yeah, I almost feel like I should tell you to watch some others first because that one is almost the pinnacle. Like it will almost be downhill from there, but do watch that one. I'm just saying, like from a modern perspective, that's the one that's got it all.
Yeah.
You know, it's got the whole Civil War backdrop. We've got characters all over the place. We've got, as Sergio Leone put it, it's three bums stumbling through the Civil War trying to find a treasure.
Yeah.
It's theoretically actually the start of the Dollars trilogy, even though it's the final one that was made. All because of one scene at the end. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Nope.
Just before him and Tuco get to the graveyard, like after they blow up the bridge. You know, are you following me so far?
Yeah.
Okay. Comes across that soldier that's dying, and he gives him his jacket. And the guy dies, and he goes to pick it up, and he stops and picks up the duster instead.
Yeah.
That's what he's wearing in the other movies. So theoretically, that's why that one has to be the first one. That's where he got the duster.
Okay.
So even though it's one that's filmed last. But yeah, Owen, if you like that, there are modern westerns that are good too. Open Range was good.
Oh, Open Range. Wonderful.
I like Silverado. Some people don't. It's got a lot of stars in it, though. Then
Tombstone.
Tombstone's excellent. There's a real chance that Kurt Russell filmed about half that movie. Also, except for one guy, those are all genuine mustaches.
Yep. And authentic clothes.
Yes, they are authentic wool clothes. And whenever you see the scenes where they're filmed inside in the theater, it's like 110 degrees in there. Which is why Val Kilmer was like, I see why these guys just sat around, drank, and shot each other all day now. So, also, Val Kilmer got totally robbed on an Academy Award for Doc Holliday. Like, should have won it for sure. Yeah, you got those. You've got, I like the remake of 310 to Yuma.
That was good.
I like the remake of True Grit. Chad prefers the original.
Just simply because I'm a John Wayne fan.
Yeah.
If I'd never seen the John Wayne version, I would think the remake is amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, there's definitely some modern ones. Unforgiven's excellent. Also.
What's that one?
That's the one with Clint Eastwood as like the aging former gunfighter, and Morgan Freeman's his former partner. They run afoul. Gene Hackman is the main villain.
Oh. Well, if you want an aged gunfighter, there's always the shootiest.
Yeah.
John Wayne's last movie.
Yeah. If you want other Gene Hackman as the villain, this one's kind of hokey, but Sam Raimi directed it.
See, I'm having the same problem with a different movie here that I'm trying to think of that's not too old.
The Quick and the Dead is what I'm thinking of. That one's, like I said, that one's kind of hokey, but I think it's entertaining. Sharon Stone's the main character. Gene Hackman's the villain. Russell Crowe is in it. Gary Sinise is in it. Leonardo DiCaprio is the younger gunfighter's in it. Lance Henriksen. Keith David. Every time I talk about it, I got to tell you guys this, but I always felt sorry for him because he does the voices for like intros for movies for like on TNT. And so he's not quite high enough on the star list to be one of the names he mentions as being in the movie.
Yeah.
But he's the guy doing the voiceover. You know that's got to burn his ass.
Yeah.
Like, come on, guys. Throw me a bone here. No, Keith, we only got so much space. You know, you're no DiCaprio. Sorry. Now, if they ever play They Live, he gets to say it because he's the second highest guy there.
Yeah. Christian Bale Western movie.
Pretend Human.
No. We went and saw in a theater.
Oh,
The one where he's escorting the Native American Indians.
Oh, I don't know what that one's called, Chad.
That's a good one to watch. That's not old.
Yeah. Give me just a second. I've got to know, but yeah. Just take me a second here, guys. It wasn't that long ago. Hostels.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
Yeah, that one was pretty good. So yeah, I mean, there are modern westerns. I mean, Cowboys versus Aliens was entertaining.
Yeah.
Owen, I swear to God, it's an entertaining.
Have you actually watched it?
No.
Like
it is entertaining.
It's absurd, but it's entertaining.
Totally absurd. Totally the wrong guy to play a cowboy outlaw, but it is entertaining.
Oh, you didn't like Bond as the cowboy?
No.
Which Bond?
Daniel Craig.
Oh.
Yeah. He plays the main character, cowboy guy.
Then Harrison Ford's in it, right?
Yep.
And Keith Carradine.
Believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember his name. Sergeant Zim's in it, I do believe. As the doctor.
Clancy Brown?
Yeah. He plays the doctor.
Could be. He's got the look and sound for a Western. But yeah, the aliens are after gold.
Yep.
I actually had to explain to someone like that actually does kind of make sense. Because on a universal scale, gold is rare. Gold has properties for electronics and for currency that even aliens would value because it's rare and it's durable enough to make like coins and stuff out of.
Yep.
So
and how it conducts electricity is valuable no matter, so long as your society is based on electrical.
Yeah. So like there would,
signal.
So there could theoretically be reasons why they'd be there. You know, it beats the usual. Oh, we're going to take all your water.
Yeah.
We're going to come here. We're going to come here and fight you instead of trying to wrestle a comet. Like in V from the '80s.
Yeah.
That's a show I need to find out if that's on streaming anywhere to rewatch that.
I think it is.
Because that would be. Should talk about that. Mark Singer, the Beastmaster. You ever see the Beastmaster?
No.
I'd like to say you're missing out, but I don't know in good conscience if I can actually say that.
I can. You need to watch it.
I think you're missing out, but like.
Just watch the first one, though. Avoid the second one.
Yeah, definitely. And the third one.
Yeah.
And the TV show.
No, the TV show is good.
Okay, well, maybe the TV show.
Watch the first one, then watch the TV show. Mark Singer's in it for like an episode or two.
Yeah, I think you told me that one time.
Yeah. Yeah, Dar's actually Dar's dad.
Yeah, so the guy can like talk to like communicate with animals and like see through their eyes. So he's got like a pair of chipmunks, squirrels, something. Weasels. And like an eagle and a tiger.
Uh-huh.
Goes to fight Rip Torn. You know who that is? That's the actor. That's his name. See the Men in Black movies? Oh man, it's gonna be really hard for me to explain to this guy. Then, so you don't know who Zed is? There's no way you've seen Down Periscope, then, right? No. That's a very fun movie.
You need to.
Okay.
That's Kelsey Grammer at some of his best outside of Frasier.
Yeah.
Maybe the only other thing I can point to that he's been in outside of Frasier is Cheers and X3.
He's in more than X3 as Beast.
Yeah, he's in Deadpool? No, not
Deadpool. He is in the end credit scene of the Marvels.
Oh.
Because Photon winds up in the X-Men universe.
Oh.
Because like literally the Dar band like tore a hole between realities and she had to close it from the other side. And that's the reality she wound up in. In that reality, her mom is Captain Marvel, so Carol. She's there by her bed when she wakes up. But he played Beast there.
Okay.
But yeah. It's also one of the Expendables movies. I think it's one I haven't seen.
Probably.
All right, so I think we have probably answered Chad's question.
Yes.
So
you and me both do find value.
Yes.
I mean, like, read the Odyssey. Came out over 1,000 years ago.
It'd be over 2,000.
2000.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure on the exact time frame.
Well, it's the Odyssey and the Iliad. The Iliad and the Odyssey are pre-Roman Empire, and the Romans didn't really get everything going until like 500 some odd BC. So, because these were Greek stories that were known to the Romans.
So yeah, over like 2,000 years.
Yeah.
Still pretty good.
Did you read the Iliad or just the Odyssey?
I just read the Odyssey. That was a school reading, but I actually enjoyed that one. But we didn't read the Iliad.
You should read Beowulf.
Or watch the CGI version. Or, if you want to see one that probably has nothing at all to do with the story, watch one with Christopher Lambert.
I was actually talking about that one with someone the other day. Was it you?
I don't know, but I only saw it one time.
I've only seen it one time.
Like when it first came out on
TV for me.
Oh, no, I rented it somewhere. I'm just trying to remember if I rented a VHS tape or a DVD.
It was probably VHS.
Yeah, because this was, I was in Lafayette. Because there's a video store that had some of the Gundam shows on VHS. Like Universal Century Gundam, not Gundam Wing. That was airing on Toonami at the time.
Yeah.
That's a whole other video. But, yeah, I mean, there's obviously stuff to be learned from the older things. But, definitely look at curated lists, and then if you're curious, venture beyond those. But, yeah, I'd say we probably about covered that one. Owen, what do you got?
Well,
You remember?
yeah, I do. I don't know, it's been a long day and it's not even over yet.
Nope.
I didn't sleep well last night.
Yeah, I wasn't in my bed till like 5 in the morning.
No,
It's after I passed out 3 times in front of the computer editing the video that went up today.
I just didn't want to get out of bed this morning.
well, as a DM for you guys and for my school club, obviously I've seen a lot of characters being made.
Mm-hmm.
And I suppose the question I'm asking, much like, Chad asked the question, now I'm asking one is, how much backstory is too much backstory?
Bobbie, you want to weigh in on this?
I will.
I will weigh in second.
All right. Well, I don't think there's like a definitive answer, because I think for some characters you could definitely have like 2 paragraphs, and that's all you really need to know about them. For others, maybe it is 4 pages or 5 pages, but there needs to be a reason for it. It's one thing if you're sitting there like, oh man, I've got this character concept in mind, and does the DM need to know all of that? Not necessarily. So in that case, like the 4 or 5 page thing, if it's pointless, if it's 4 or 5 pages of, well, this is what my character's done since they were born. Now they're 30 years old, and you go through like their life and love and everything else, but none of that has anything to do with the character now. Then that's all pointless. That's too much. But if all that is to explain, well, this is why I'm really a member of this secret society, and I'm trying to find my lost love who I left over here, and my parents who were killed by this guy over here, and things that actually could potentially matter, then sure, 4 or 5 pages, go for it. But it's got to be interesting, and it's got to matter. So, to me, that's the important parts. The short one's like, I left the city guard, and now I'm out adventuring. That can be all you really need. Maybe there is no more to the character than that. They literally just want to see the world or something. In which case, you don't need to know everything about them. Maybe they're an only child. Their parents died in their sleep 10 years ago, and, they're single, and that's all they got going for them. Maybe collect statues or something. Figurines. Or not. Maybe like cheese, Just it just really depends on the character and what the point of the backstory is, and is it interesting? Because again, you could have a 10-page backstory, but if it's not interesting, hell, even the DM's not going to read it.
No.
DM's going to hand you this is spectacular. Give me like a one-page Cliff Notes version, like just the important parts. You know, that's my take on it.
Too much. You can have a paragraph backstory and it be too much, or you can have 4 pages and it not be enough. Like Bobbie was saying, it's all in what are they actually giving you. Because if they're giving you a character that's killed dragons, faced down gods, stopped earthquakes and all that, why are they still adventuring? They should be running a bar where your players first meet. That's an NPC, not a character.
After they took an arrow to the knee, fighting the dragon.
No. But yes, that happened at one point, I'm sure. But likewise, if you literally go, here's paragraph just like with nothing valuable in there, it's pointless. It's nothing the DM needs us. It's too much. It's literally a sentence at that point would work. I'm adventuring for fun. But
I got bills to pay.
Yeah, a good backstory should provide the DM with plot hooks. Something to make the character have a stake for what they're doing.
I prefer ribeye.
Ribeye is good.
I'm sorry, Chad. It was open. It was there.
Yes.
But yes.
But
you mean you don't mean that kind of steak?
yes, that a reason for them to have skin in the game. Say, like I've had characters where their whole plot was they were sent to infiltrate this place by a criminal organization. The choices of my own character's doing, that organization ceased to exist. Okay. Well, now he's got that guilt he's got to live with.
Guilt over the guild.
Yep. I have made characters where literally this was actually the first character I made with my Tuesday group, Kate. It was backstory to explain his personality, give like his family, and why he's adventuring. That's literally all the DM needed. It was like 2 or 3 paragraphs. Kate's dead now. I played him for years. But, on the flip side, there's a person with the Tuesday group. He will give you like 4 or 5 pages of backstory. Meaningful backstory. I look forward to yours, Charboiled Beefcake.
Oh, yeah.
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 And it's meaningful. There's plot hooks to work with and everything. And he will do this for every character he makes. I will give plot hooks, but you're lucky to get 3 paragraphs out of me.
Brad gave me lengthy background on his character.
I have one for Luke's game, for one game Luke's talked about running. He did a one-shot that he wanted to turn into a longer campaign. A more darker setting.
Ravenloft?
No.
Dark Sun?
No, it's Forgotten Realms, but just a darker plot.
Is that if like the bad endings to all the campaigns happened?
No.
Because I've heard that's also like an unofficial campaign setting.
But I made a character in 2 or 3 paragraphs. Most of that the character doesn't even know because they have amnesia. Yes, people, if you make a character with amnesia, write the background out. Don't just go, well, I don't know my background, and leave it to the DM.
Here's my background. I don't know any of this, though.
Yes.
Clear.
Yes, I gave
I go with that.
someone who's probably hunting for my character, like actually looking for him.
Yeah.
I gave people that are villains in their life, people that probably helped rescue them, but they don't know any of that. They're starting as someone who, without memory, who's been living on the streets.
Yeah. Well, just so you don't try to pull some kind of like, oh, I'm a level 1 fighter. I'm really like a level 10 wizard, though. So, if I ever get my memories back.
No. No, it was a shopkeeper.
Okay, level 10 merchant then. Can negotiate with the best of them.
No. It was a cover for a criminal organization in Waterdeep. Like, they were the fence. So
your background you don't know is that you had a fake background concealing another background.
no,
I mean, that sounds spectacular. Don't get me wrong.
So you think you regain your memories and we're like, oh yeah, I'm a shopkeeper.
Yeah, literally, back to the topic. Too much backstory only happens when they get away from the meat of it and get into superfluous topics. Like, it's great if you lay out exactly what type of cloth underwear your character likes to wear. Now they're stuck with cotton. Live with it.
I would think it would be linen in most cases. But...
Stuck with wool, low quality. It's going to be itchy a lot.
Ooh, no.
Live with it.
On commando in that case. What the robe's for.
But yeah, once it gets
unless you're wearing armor, that'll chafe.
That doesn't matter. Is the only time it is too much backstory.
Or if they're trying to sneak things in. I suppose.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like I totally like arm wrestled a giant, so like I should have this feat over here, and like I've done this thing, which will justify me doing this thing later.
Hey, if you want that feat, your background you better take in was giant foundling.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
I believe Owen had a story somewhat like that. I don't know if you told it on here, if you just told it to me, but...
I think I told it to you. I prefer not to get into the meat of the thing, but essentially, well, I've had players in the past just not have any backstory.
It's not too hard to work with. It just takes...
Well, like, in my first campaign, I had, the first person, I still play with today, had plentiful backstory, had a plot hook, been part of a thieves group, wasn't really affiliated with them anymore.
People hunt them down because they're not paying their dues anymore.
So that provided hooks. There was a second person who didn't really have a backstory, but they did make a little bit, and that was going to be relevant until they just stopped showing up. Well, you know, and it's funny because it was, you know, like, yeah, it wasn't even just like, oh, like one of their like family members had been kidnapped by the Cool of the Dragon.
Ooh.
And that was going to become really relevant if people didn't stop showing up. And then the third person, just no backstory at all, amnesia, I actually had something going for that. And then they just changed schools.
Oh.
To be clear, he means like the school in the real world, not like schools of magic or something.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that sucks.
So that entire campaign fell in the gutter. But luckily, I'm trying to run something new here, but we got the one person who I said had a lot of backstory before also developed a minor case of main character syndrome.
Oh.
Well, essentially their backstory, it sounded alright at first, and then by the end of it, they were essentially telling me that their character, who was, what was it? Oh yes, like level 4 or 5 at the time, was essentially demigod, and I actually I didn't know how to react to that.
Yeah, that one can catch you off guard.
Yeah, that. Never be afraid to go, this background doesn't work.
Like, I should have done that, but like, well, one, it's a school club, and two, I'm pretty sure the kid's autistic like my brother, and I really don't know how to handle that.
Yeah.
Sit down with them for a few minutes and go over it. And you could always, play into it with, well, you were a demigod. You've been recently stripped of your powers, though.
I think that's actually kind of the idea, isn't it? Something like that.
Well, I think the idea is that they were possessing something, but my teacher hopefully suggested, their physical form is, not entirely intact. Like
Yeah.
like they're possessing some sort of skeleton.
Ooh.
So essentially, have it start falling apart. Have them try to keep it all together.
I've actually had that character idea before. Not that exactly. The adventurer who died and now walks around in full plate mail, still adventuring to try and pay for their family that they're trying not to go see, for it doesn't get out that they're dead.
Yeah. Well, this talk reminds me of a meme picture I saw before. It was like, oh, my first character, and it's like Robin Hood or something. Oh, now my 20th character. I'm a sentient loaf of bread that uses Mage Hand to move myself around. I'm just like, yeah. Kind of how it goes sometimes.
The one I like, first campaign group, you can have the Fellowship. 20th campaign characters, you have Monty Python and the Quest for the Holy Grail.
I've seen that one. I've seen like Robin Hood, Men in Tights.
Or like Night at the Museum. Got like Cleopatra, Theodore Roosevelt.
Yeah.
I like the first character, the serious warrior 20th character, Danny DeVito in the sling leotard. As you make your characters, you can start to run out of ideas unless you're the forever DM. And then you have an endless supply of NPCs.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a forever DM because I do get time to play, but I have a stupid stockpile of characters.
I did come across a meme recently about that too. It was the asking the forever DM what they thought of actually playing. And it's Balin's Skull from Ahsoka, and he's just like, I like the idea of it. Because it was him answering as far as like the Jedi Order, the one character everyone actually liked from that show, who unfortunately the actor that played was dead. Yeah, so we might get to see some new lawsuits against Disney where they try to use his likeness, because they're going to.
Well, yeah, and then the what is it with like players using dead parents as a cheap cop out?
Because the easiest possible motivation is revenge.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the easiest possible motivation, who's like the most recognized character who's clearly driven by revenge but tries to act all high and mighty about it? It's Batman. What's he avenging? Dead parents. So it's all right. That's as deep as it gets.
I have never fallen back on that cliche.
I don't know. It's been a while since I played a character, so.
Cade, parents were still alive.
I'm trying to remember. I don't think I had that going for me.
His mom, dad, both grandmas, both grandpas, his like 6 siblings, all still alive. He just one day, like he had his coming of age, his 18th birthday, big celebration. Next day he went off on an adventure because he got fancy feet.
Listen, Bobbie.
He was a halfling.
If we can all meet back together and get together, I swear I'll DM this time.
Hey, I mean, if we can make it happen, I'll even drag another player into things if I need to.
Who?
Like, Levi. He'll play.
I like to see what he can do. Like,
he's creative in his writing, and I hope he's not watching this. But the only thing, like, he tells me about the stories that he writes, but he may as well just be reading me the story. And I just have this thing where I just cannot pay attention to people that do that. Like it gets about 2-3 minutes in, and I'm just like, yeah, that sounds spectacular. Keep going. Then they'll eventually get to the point where they ask me a question. And I'm like, what'd you say again? Yeah, that sounds great. And I've even had to tell him, Levi, look, my man, you're trying, that's great, but give me the gist of it. This is a movie trailer, okay? This is an elevator pitch. Give me that. If it sounds good, I'll just read it. I don't need you to tell me what's going on. That just does not work for me for some reason. And and I hate, I don't want to be rude to people about it. So I usually try to just go along with it. But eventually it gets to the point of like, I lost you like 10 minutes ago. Like you could have told me that like you've got nuclear launch codes on your phone or something. Totally missed it. So yeah.
I mean, you know, like I write myself. I nothing obviously professional, but like for school and academic competitions, I wrote and I've even won stuff for it. And like I've listened to Levi explain it.
Well, I'm going to tell you the really awful part. I know that's how I explain things. So like, there's a part of me that's like, Jesus Christ, is this what I sound like to people? I'm like, too bad. It's going to happen, I guess.
Yeah, it happens.
So yeah.
Well, the problem I have with explaining things is that I get through all of it, but I don't put the details in relevant order.
Yeah.
It made sense in my mind to go this route, but you look utterly confused. Situation.
I get that when I record videos. I get to the end and I'm like, just in the back of my mind, all of a sudden it clicks like, wait, I didn't mention this important thing. Hold up, something else. And what I really should do is like just record the separate segment and jam it in someplace else in editing. But
no,
yeah, but what if it's a day later?
Oh, like if it's while I'm editing, forget it, because I'm not going to record anything else. Usually,
you don't want to pull up your phone and just go, "Hey, future Bobbie here."
No, well, I don't record that way anyway. But I do if it's really important. I do. And like there was one video where like I recorded an intro, but I didn't like it, so then I recorded another intro, and literally in the video I talked about, like I don't know about this intro, like maybe I'll change it, but that's never happened in one of the videos yet. So then I had to put a title card right there saying, well, it happened. So this is definitely a different intro. So that's what I get for saying stupid shit like that.
Well, like, I don't know, just a lot of my players, I mean, if it's like a one-shot I'm asking to make something, then yeah, maybe having a short, concise backstory not really there, but if you're, using the same character over and over, I at least expect some more.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to have to railroad you along my thing. I need a couple plot hooks.
Yeah, if it's for a one shot, that's more like I need a concept of a character.
Which I've done.
And if somehow that becomes more than a one shot, then you worry about it. But up to that point, like, I just need to know why I am right here, right now, and I'm the only one that really needs to know that.
My buddy Luke ran a level 20 one shot once.
Yeah.
I fell into a cliche at that point. I was the half-orc barbarian that had retired from adventuring to barkeep. Bought his own bar in Waterdeep.
Why does everyone buy their bar in Waterdeep? No one ever goes to Neverwinter or Baldur's Gate.
Well, the reason it was in Waterdeep was that's where it was starting, and we were still kind of on the payroll of Waterdeep as stuff's hit the fan really bad. We need the level 20 people that's never really failed us.
Go to the Inner Sea, to Zentil Keep. I mean,
yeah.
10 towns.
Who's retiring to 10 towns?
That's the only people that are there.
Level 20 adventurers?
Well, no, but retirees. It's cold. Like, it's up in the north. The farthest north you can go. Like, there's nothing else there. But just go there and die, basically. Fish for Scrimshaw. That's it. Occasionally run into Dritz. And Wolfgar. And Canterbury. And Brunner. Maybe his Panther Guinevere.
You mean it's not Panther?
It's Panther. I mean, it's magic, but Panther, right?
I don't know. I've never read the book.
Pretty sure it's Panther. Doesn't matter. It's a giant cat. It's magic. It's purple. He stole it from some guy he killed.
But yeah, most one-shots I don't give a background to the DM for. I have one up here.
That guy was a drow. He had it coming.
Otherwise, it's... yeah. I have one up here where I can play the character, and then...
Yeah, for one shot, that's all you need. Like, if the DM asks you for something, write something up. But, I mean, you really just...
Well, no, it's just that most of my things end up being one-shots because I keep getting silent on the scheduling, and I don't have time to run campaigns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I could try to string together one-shots, but trying to have something concise just isn't feasible a lot of the time.
Well, Owen, if you want to run a campaign for us, and you want it to feel like a campaign you're already in, I have the newer Fandelver book. It's got like the massively expanded version of the campaign.
Oh no, it's fine. I much prefer to intend to run my own thing.
All right. Is it going to be set in Dark Sun?
Yes.
No.
I will play a halfling if you set it in Dark Sun.
I think we're going to be Forgotten Realms, or maybe I'll actually do something with that custom campaign setting I've been talking about all this time.
Fair enough.
I got a game coming up that I'm running, and I'm just still in the world from Dragon Age. Convenient.
The recent Dragon Age?
No. No. The history of the world conveniently leaves off roughly after Inquisition.
That'd be a good idea.
That's about where it's picking up. No. It's still into geography, the kingdoms, twisting it a little bit, rewriting certain things. I'm not going to limit people to the Maker or no God, so the Chantry is still the big religion, simply because, it's everywhere. But it is not the only religion.
Yep.
And I twisted to Vendor a little bit. I made a Magocracy, Theocracy.
What about the what are they called? Sort of Q?
Nari.
Yeah, the Canary.
I'm repurposing Goliaths and Orcs for that.
All right.
Just like humans are technically, I gave racial categories, not here's races. And I took the base races and I was like, here's the ones that would fit. The others are not from this world. You cross the veil somehow. So like humans are technically humans, Yuan-Ti, purebloods, and half-elves. Because in Dragon Age Origins, Aelin, the one other Grey Warden that survives the start of the game with you, he's half-elf.
Yep.
So, looks completely human, so I'm like, technically human. You have so many different versions of elf, it's like, elf is elf. And then dwarf, I put dwarf and Dorgar. Golems, you got, Warforged. There's your choice.
Yeah.
Live with it. Apparently in Dragon Age there's these scaled ones, which seemed a perfect fit for Dragonborn and Lizard Folk.
Yeah.
So.
What about Sorials?
They're not in 5th edition as player races.
Why are there no dinosaur people, Chad?
Lizard Folk.
These are dinosaurs.
Lizard Folk.
That's an iguana. I'm talking dinosaurs.
Lizard Folk.
They're not the same thing.
According to Godzilla, they are.
They're going to re-release Godzilla 0. Or minus 1. Here sometime before the end of the year. Got some new footage in it.
Oh?
Yep. That's what I read the other day, anyway. Got to figure out when. I might go watch it again.
Yeah, I might.
I'm going to do that too.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
It
was. It is. Will continue to be. That's the way past, present, future tense works.
Hopefully it's new scenes with Matthew Broderick.
Why would Matthew Broderick be in there?
He was in a Godzilla movie.
So was Jean Reno in the same one, but I don't expect him to be in there.
Why not?
What? Are we going to talk about every actor who's been in a Godzilla movie?
Yeah.
No, it's just the worst Godzilla movie.
Oh, Godzilla 2000.
I don't even remember who else is in the movie. I'm not too worried about it either. Let's not go down that path.
Yeah.
We've got one more thing to fulfill here.
I guess I could cap this off by just saying, whatever the length of your backstory, just make sure that there's something there and that it's at least halfway relevant, or that it's something interesting that the DM could use.
All right. Well, so we have one more topic. We had 2 to choose from.
I made a vote. Owen abstained.
No, I also made a vote. Just it was 2-1.
What'd you vote? Simulation?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So, for some reason, my YouTube feed lately has been showing me clips from Neil deGrasse Tyson. And whenever he talks like space stuff, I find him interesting. When he kind of gets out of his lane, he needs to be more willing to admit that he doesn't know what he's talking about.
That's true about a lot of people.
It is very much so. Because like I heard him, one clip was talking about like the movie The Martian. The guy asked him point blank, like, "Well, could you grow potatoes on Mars if you mixed Martian soil with poop and potato?" That's what happens in the movie.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well," and then he explained that like Martian soil isn't really soil; it's just kind of dust, and that soil on Earth has microbes in it and everything. He's like, "However, I'm not a farmer, so I really don't know. Like, that's not really a question I can answer. I just know there are some differences, so I would suspect not, but I'm not a farmer." So answers like that, he needs to have the humility to have a few more of those sometimes. However, when it comes to space stuff, he knows what he's talking about. However, this has more to deal with reality itself. And someone asked him, like, well, people put forth the idea that our reality is merely a simulation. And he point blank said, "I don't have a counter argument for that, and I kind of wish I did. But more importantly," and here's the rabbit hole, say you have a super advanced race.
Yep.
They create simulated reality.
Yeah.
But then that simulated reality reaches a point where they can create a simulated reality. And so on and so on. Once that becomes possible, then the odds of this being a simulation increase dramatically. Because then you have one real reality and a potentially infinite number of fake realities. The odds favor us being in one of the fake ones, not the real one.
Are you saying we're all just the video game life where you've put like, this cell has life, this cell doesn't? You know the game I'm talking about?
I think so.
Pixel based.
Yeah.
You put in what you want and like it'll spread.
Conway's Game of Life.
Yes. Which is amazing if you mess around in it.
I think so. But yeah, kind of like that. So kind of like how we are potentially on the verge of making an AI
that can think for itself, and thus being able to start our version of that simulation.
Right. But let's expand even beyond that. Say you have the super advanced race.
Yep.
They create their artificial reality.
Yep.
Are they going to stop at one? They're potentially going to make several.
So, what video game is our world in?
And then those several will potentially make several of their own. And it just begins multiplying exponentially. And unlike the Matrix, there's no real body for us to jump back into.
No, there's not.
Like, we're just here, pixels somewhere. Electrons. Which might explain why we can't actually detect electrons. You know that? We can detect what they do. We can detect the electron field. But we can't actually detect the actual physical electron. We're just taking it on faith that it's there, apparently. Also, they're all exactly the same. Yeah, electrons are kind of screwed. I think it's electrons are all the same. It's electrons or neutrons, but I think it's electrons. Oh, I'm not done blowing your mind yet, Chad.
Photons are screwed too, but that's a different thing. Different subject.
Also, some recent scientific stuff has concluded that yes, consciousness is a thing. It's not just like a concept. And there's a very real chance that it affects local reality.
What?
There are particles that we can now tell behave differently if they're being observed than if they're not.
Yeah.
Which means that consciousness, a key part of observing, is affecting local reality. Also, local reality might not be real.
What?
So we may be a simulation that's using our brain power to create reality around us.
So you're saying we're simulating intelligences creating the world around us with our consciousness directly affecting how certain things move and act in it.
Correct. That's what all those discoveries and hypotheses cobbled together eventually reach you to the conclusion of. We have like low-level orc psychic abilities. It's just we haven't quite got to the point that we can make red things go faster yet.
And yellow things blow up better, and blue things be lucky.
I emphasize yet.
We're going to get someone who goes to the Olympics for weightlifting at some point painted green just to be stronger.
Yes.
And our Black Ops people are going to be painted purple.
Well, it's funny you should mention the Black Ops stuff.
You know why purple's the color of stealth for orcs, right?
No.
Have you ever seen a purple orc?
Well, I can't say that I have.
Right, there you go.
That reminds, there's a guy who does these like shorts on YouTube talking about like the zany stuff in 40K. And so there, one guy's, so it's like, it's him and himself asking questions like, so do the orcs have space combat? And he goes, oh yeah. And he talked about one of the orc ships that has it's a certain kind of gun on the front that like beams things into other things. He's like, well, he just built a really big one, and they just beam over to the enemy ships. I'm like, well, didn't you say they like go through hell essentially to get there because they go through the warp?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah. He's like, so how do they not go crazy? They just blindfold themselves. And he's just like, well, I like cartoon logic that makes sense. That seems to be what the orcs are operating
under. That's for the boarding parties.
Yeah.
That's not the actual, ones performing combat in space. Ones actually fighting. You have the big gun shooting and all, and then you have the one orc over here who's rolled down the window and it's shooting out the window.
Yeah.
Because, more DACA, always better DACA.
Yeah, and also, they don't have a Geller field, they just put spikes on the ships or something like that.
Yeah, they don't have a Geller field. they don't travel through the warp like everybody else either. They get onto what are called space hulks and tag along with that.
Okay.
That's why orc invasions tend to be when one of those come out in reality. Or you're getting gene stealers. One of the two.
Yeah. But, yeah. So, on to the whole simulation thing. The problem is there's no way to disprove the idea.
There's not. There's only one way to actually finally prove it.
Yeah, well, it's one way that most
find the end of the universe where we can't go any farther.
Oh, that wasn't what I was thinking, but
that or unplug the simulation.
I was thinking like a more localized version of that, but sure.
What?
Chad, you naive.
At the end where the final truth is revealed to all of us.
Oh.
Whether there is or isn't anything. Whether there is or it's just like unplugging a TV. So anyway, like, I don't know like where the implications for that go. Because even Neil deGrasse Tyson was kind of like, well, even in that scenario, like there's going to be people in the simulation who are essentially scientists who are trying to figure out the limits of the simulation. We would just call that physics. He's like, I'm not sure it would be any different if we knew that, beyond the fact that it might have some religious implications. But
here's the next question: what if you're real? Okay, what would be the purpose of the simulation?
Who knows?
Entertainment, science.
Given the way things have gone for the last 10 years, I'm guessing entertainment. But.
Okay, so here's a question: if it is entertainment, the really popular people that they focus on.
Well, here
are they saved? Are they taken out of the simulation when they die and preserved?
I don't know, but I have something about that here in a second. But there was one thing put forward, like maybe that's why like peace never lasts, because whoever's watching gets bored and it's like, let's kick things off over here.
And we'll just momentarily take control of this guy, be like, invasion.
Yeah.
Alternatively.
Or create a character specifically for that.
Or you could say that's simply human nature.
It could be. It could be pre-programmed in.
Yeah.
But then there's the other possibility. So if it is all simulation, you realize time travel is definitely possible then.
Yeah.
Then it's just taking a save state from a future state and putting it into a previous save state, and then letting that take off on its way.
Save scumming.
Yeah. You know?
Save file manipulation to put characters where they aren't supposed to be.
Yes.
Is that why we see all the like photos and artwork of Keanu Reeves?
Maybe. Nicolas Cage too, I think. Right? Isn't he the other one? There's like a picture, like some dude from like 1822, not 18 like 92, looks just like him. It's like, but it can't be. It's
Yeah.
Like,
I think a third one's Barron Trump.
no, Barron Trump is in a book.
Oh.
The Last President. And there's a time traveler named Barron Trump.
Oh. Cool.
Like, also, you know, Donald Trump's uncle, I believe, was a scientist at, I want to say at MIT. I could be wrong on that. And he's one of the people that got like some of the stuff Nikola Tesla was working on.
Yep.
So, you know, theories abound on that one.
So you're saying Trump has the ultimate doomsday device?
No, I would think if he had it, his casino wouldn't have failed. But saying, or maybe that was all part of the plan. I don't know. But yeah, Owen, any thoughts on the whole simulation thing? Crackpot theory?
You know,
Or is it like Rocco's basilisk and there's no way to disprove it?
there's no way to disprove it, but I think that's exactly why it can't be true.
Well, that's true, because from a scientific standpoint, if it can't be disproven,
Because
there's no there's no phrase for that. I can't think of the other phrase.
even the most concrete scientific theories we have details that could potentially disprove it. It's just
Right.
all the evidence in support of it. But if there's no evidence in support or disproving it,
Yeah, I mean, the problem is, outside of like religious implications, it doesn't fundamentally change anything.
Nope.
You know, it's just, okay, so we're electrons instead of not.
Simulation or not, I'm still gonna go to work tomorrow morning. Still gonna go Tuesday to play D&D with friends.
Yeah.
Technically, it's called Cthulhu right now, not D&D.
How's that
Interesting. We all made
Have you-
ourselves.
Have you gone crazy yet?
I am the one with the lowest sanity. I am playing it as finally my
Inner cultist is breaking out.
no, my inhibition control slipping.
Okay. But, I mean, okay, so let's say hypothetically we are just electrons. Okay. Well, even from a physical standpoint, that's not that far off. I mean, 99% of this table doesn't exist.
Yep.
You know?
all that empty space between the electrons and the protons and the
Yep.
neutrons.
It's just the electrical field they all put off stops us from passing through.
And think about this. Atoms don't actually touch.
Nope.
So, I mean, does anything ever actually interact with anything? You know, at that level? Like, I mean, obviously it does, but like,
You say,
Which leads to when your kids do that and say, I'm not touching you, they are technically correct.
well, I mean, if you think about it, we're made up of cells. Cells are made up of atoms. Those atoms made up of protons, neutrons, and electrons.
Yep.
We are nothing but just a bunch of protons, neutrons, and electrons.
you know, not to.
I am a 10-pound brain piloting a skeleton mech inside of a meat suit.
That's right. You're not a person. You're a brain piloting the bone mech with meat armor.
Yep.
But yeah, Owen, to go a step farther, consider this. So life, well, first you had atoms that eventually assemble into molecules that eventually become compounds, that eventually become single-cell organisms, eventually become multicellular organisms, eventually become us. So are we to assume that we are the final form? Or is creating all of our electronics that are all interlacing with one another, are we just creating the next step of everything is just parts of a higher up machine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ever considered it from that angle before?
I mean, we're all gears in some sort of cosmic machine. Just finding out what role you have to play.
You know, I think most people are going to be kind of disappointed they don't get top billing or any billing.
I'm fine with that. If you have billing in that, you got way too much responsibility on your shoulders.
I don't know. Jeff Bezos doesn't seem to have any responsibility. He just has the great power part, as near as I can tell. Just saying, like, what is his responsibility? Like, got more money than God, and just like buys boats, and said he's not gonna have his paper endorse the president this time because it shows partisanship, and wears a cowboy hat a lot. Well, to disguise the fact he looks like Lex Luthor. And unlike Bill Gates, though, it doesn't behave like Lex Luthor.
See, but with Jeff Bezos, though, he just looks like Lex Luthor in a cowboy hat.
Which is great. But
it is.
Because now I need an Elseworlds where Lex Luthor's a cowboy.
No, you need an
a modern businessman, but with the cowboy hat.
You need Elseworlds where he's in his power armor with a cowboy hat.
You know, there's a Lego set coming out next year that has Lex Luthor and Superman's the one in the power armor. Lex is just a guy. Now the figure is the armor, you know, but like Superman has like a block-built power armor. Like, how much more lopsided did that physical battle need to be?
Wouldn't that just be Superman just reducing his capabilities?
Yeah,
it depends on the robot, but potentially. There's a storyline where he pilots some weird robot, like at the center of time or something, that's like even stronger than he is, to go fight somebody that has an evil Superman that's been corrupted and turned into a vampire. And then somewhere in there, Batman shoots Darkseid with a gun that kills him after he had taken over the body of Dan Turpin. And then Darkseid hits him with the Omega Beam and sends him back to caveman times. I swear to God that all happens in the same book.
Yeah, sounds about right.
It's Final Crisis.
Oh, I'm hopping Batman.
Yeah, that's what sends him back to like the BC era. Then he like goes through the ages or something, and
which is where we get Civil War.
Pirate Batman.
Yes, and Pirate Batman. Whose Robin is just a pirate.
Can't really call it Robin at that point, can you?
Yes.
Yeah, it does seem a little disingenuous. I mean, since it's a different bird. I'm just saying, like, a robin's a specific bird. You know, he's not a sparrow.
It's a name at that point.
I mean, kind of.
That's like naming your cat Doggo.
Well, you can do that.
So why can't you name a parrot Robin?
Because Robin is already like an established thing. Like, if you name your cat Doggo, I mean, it's just weird, but you can do it.
Robin is a name. It is also a normal name for people.
Yeah.
Like, you can name your cat Robin or your dog Robin.
You can name your cat or your dog anything you want. They don't have any say in it.
Well, Batman named his sidekick whatever he wanted.
Well, I'm just saying. You know, in the Amalgam verse, there was Sparrow, I believe. It's the combination of Robin and Jubilee.
Mm-hmm.
Which really just looked like Jubilee, but had like Robin's outfit.
Yep. And Batman got chucked in with Wolverine to be Darkclaw.
Yes. And had to fight the Hyena, the Joker, and Sabretooth.
Mm-hmm. And Superman and Cyclops sort of got shoved together. Superman and Captain America got shoved together because his powers came from the super serum.
Yes, super soldier.
Yes.
And his shield was the Kryptonian.
The Ray got shoved in with Cyclops.
Yeah.
Because Ray reasons.
Kingpin and the Riddler, I believe, refused to make the big question.
Yep.
The X-Men and can't think of the name of the team now. Refused together. The team of weirdos in DC. Yeah, I know. They have a TV show, The Doom Patrol. That became the X Patrol.
Okay.
Because both the leaders are both in wheelchairs also. Although I think Professor X got fused with like Martian Manhunter. Although he was also involved in a fusion of like him, Doctor Strange, and Doctor Fate. It was 3 characters merged together.
The Doctor.
No, it was Doctor Strange Fate.
Oh. Yeah. Then
Thor and Orion became Thorion. That was the easier merger. Loki and Desaad just sounds stupid.
well, you
It's Loke Desaad.
also had Apocalypse and Darkseid.
No, it's Thanos and Darkseid.
Yeah, Thanos and Darkseid. Pretty much the same character.
Thanos side. No, Apocalypse got fused with Ra's al Ghul
Oh yeah.
to make like Ra's al Apocalypse or something. And then his daughter was Talia, but fused with Lady Deathstrike. So, Bill Clinton was still the president. As is Bill Clinton, both universes.
I hope Deadpool and Deathstroke got fused together.
I'm assuming they did, but I don't recall on that one.
Be like Deathstroke or
Pretty sure
Deadstroke.
Pretty sure Storm and Wonder Woman got fused together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then there was Access, who was unique. Because he was the one guy that could actually like move between the realities. The one character that Marvel and DC both own. Yeah. Yeah, Marvel versus DC was great. I really need to buy the omnibus because I think it's out now. Because they had to destroy a bunch of them because they were misprinted. And the odds of them making another print run are slim.
Oh, get it?
Yeah, you got $150 you can let me borrow?
No.
Well, maybe. Might have it when I sell those overpower cards.
You might have a lot more than that.
Yeah, I might. We'll see. I didn't tell you what else was in that crate, did I?
No.
There's like a whole tote. It had those. Had a bunch of my Star Wars cards from the Star Wars collectible card game. Star Trek collectible card game. Mortal Kombat collectible card game. Might even have my SimCity cards in there somewhere. Yes, there's a SimCity collectible card game, Owen.
Yeah, sounds about right.
If you ever go to, I think Gen Con and Indiana Comic Con both have it, there's always the booth selling the unopened packages of trading card games.
I know.
There's everything from...
Well, they have the SimCity cards. But I bought some down at Comic Quest for like dirt cheap.
Yeah. Well, there's off-the-wall ones like... what's some of the weird ones we keep pointing out to each other, being like, you should buy that?
Ones for like weirdo movies, like for like Howard the Duck or something.
Yeah.
Or like Conan the Destroyer, or not Conan the Barbarian, probably. It'd be the Destroyer, it'd be the second.
Yeah.
Or the Jason Momoa Conan movie.
And then there's the serious ones that are like, hey, you'd actually, like, we like this, we should buy it.
Like the
And we
overpower
never
card,
do.
like the overpower cards Chris bought last time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I should see if he just wants to buy these overpower cards.
Yeah, but you gotta give him the friend discount and all that.
Do you have any idea how much 6 card boxes weigh? You know how much it's going to cost me to ship those to somebody? I can't send them media mail, they're not books.
Can you buy a book to put them all in, and then put that in media mail and send that?
Chad, you are a damn genius.
Like, they have the books of card sleeves.
Oh, I never considered that.
Oh, I thought Chad was just like asking, like, haul out a book or something.
Yeah, no, that's what
No.
you need, right?
To hollow out a book? No.
Yeah, buy like a big Bible or something and carve it out, and then I'll have to shrink wrap it, as long as the ISBN number's on it.
I guess you can do that.
All right, well
That seems like fraudulent mail, though.
you're half a genius. So I've got the rest of the way there. But.
See, my intent was you get the actual, like, books that have the sheets where you slide the cards in.
Oh no, you can't do that. It has to have an ISBN.
Sure, I can find you one with it.
No, you can't. That's like the Library of Congress like number kind of thing. You can't.
You think someone hasn't done that and gotten it through?
I think what people do is they send T-shirts that way. I found out. They try to use that as the packaging material, but that's what they're really sending is the T-shirts themselves. Yeah.
See, I'm
Yeah.
trying to find you a book that you're just putting stuff in.
Chad, I'll tell you about fraudulent here that you will get away with. Did you see that thing I sent you like a day or two ago? That said that, at this point, no one can really verify that you weren't a general manager for Radio Shack or Toys R Us.
Oh. Yeah.
They've been out of business for years. Who are they going to call? Oh, yeah, I did. They work there, but, I can't get a hold of anyone anymore, so no, I don't have any contacts. As long as the person that's interviewing you isn't like, hey, I also worked at Radio Shack or whatever, as long as that didn't happen, you can't prove that you didn't do it.
That's why you put down both. And when they ask you and they're like, hey, I worked there, what was it like? Be like, oh, I bounced back and forth between the two. Like, I worked at both at the same time. It kind of bleeds over together. I'm sorry.
Man, Christmas was a killer, though. Let's throw that in there. It's retail, both gift things. Yeah. Throw in a few anecdotes about customers coming with dumb questions. Got it. What kind of size batteries does this take? Well, I don't know. AA? How do you know? It's written right here on the box. Things like that. Short, but they're true.
Yep. You can
Except
take it a step farther and add Blockbuster to the list.
That's true. Yeah. So there you go. So Owen, a few years and when you're filling out applications, keep all this in mind.
I wasn't even born when most of these went out of business.
Hey, you were alive when Toys R Us went out of business.
But not when Blockbuster was.
The last Blockbuster went out of business only 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a big deal that was the last one left. Wait, did that one finally close?
I don't know.
I think it might still be open.
Yeah, but I doubt they have a corporate office where they can verify this stuff anymore.
Oh, yeah, no. For sure not. Say you were a waiter at Chi-Chi's. I can't verify that either.
General manager at Chi-Chi's.
Yeah, general manager. You don't want to waste it on a waiter, yeah. Kmart. The last physical Kmart is going to close before the end of the year if it hasn't closed already.
Yeah, you're just like, yeah, I was a general manager at Kmart when it was closing, man.
Sears, I think they're all out of business, aren't they?
Yeah.
Locally, you could say Family Video.
No.
Are there any still left open?
Newburgh.
Okay, well, don't say Family Video then. Yeah. See, if we were in a simulation, you could definitely get away with all that. Or maybe not, because it'd be entertaining if you tried it and failed. They put you on a list or something.
If we were in a simulation, why haven't we encountered the Stack Overflow errors?
It's a really advanced computer.
We might not have hit the end of the stack, the overflow, or we might have encountered them, and there's something like, the Manhattan Project.
Yeah, something we didn't recognize, or that's how people just disappear. We call it disappearing, but they literally just disappear.
Or, spontaneous combustion.
Or maybe the people who disappeared are the people who found the out of bounds glitches and then they're just falling through the void.
Or alien abductions could be Stack Overflow.
Yep.
Because they're literally getting rid of the cause of the Stack Overflow.
Why? Yeah, but then we just have... Well, if we're in a simulation, we just need to find the infinite money glitch and just duplicate it.
Well, some people do, but then they get arrested because it's usually a pyramid scheme.
No, putting money in a container and having you and someone else grab it at the same time to duplicate it.
Oh.
Yeah, maybe.
I personally want to find the heal all, self-healing glitch.
The infinite health glitch?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that is one thing.
Or the exercise glitch.
That is kind of one thing that does, as far as I don't want to go down the religious road here a whole lot, but say somehow you're to find out that was true. Now, there's a lot of things that people accept about our world that is clearly not perfect. but they accept it because, well, that's God's plan, that's God's will, etc. What if you were to realize that, like, no, it's really not. It's someone who's barely more intelligent than you programmed your existence and just didn't take that into account and or just wants to watch you suffer.
Then we are perhaps the pawns of a malicious being.
Yeah. And like I just like how does that impact things? But beyond that, like say we are. But say we're so advanced that in the eye of whatever deity may or may not exist in whatever however high you have to go to hit reality, from their perspective, do we matter? Is it a case of the hands that made everything are also guiding that hand? You know what I mean?
Does that even matter at that point? Because you're someone from the outside here. Aren't you just trading one all-powerful deity for another, or one all-powerful being for another all-powerful being?
Well, you are to an extent.
Like,
I mean, that would definitely be a turtles all the way down.
it's just now you've removed some of the mystery of the person.
Yeah.
This is someone from the outside because I am not a churchgoer. I make no secret of it.
But yeah, like I said, just thought it was kind of interesting, this concept, and that eventually at some point, something we'll have to tackle with if we make an advanced enough AI, that we could make essentially the Sims, but like for real, and just let it go.
Look, if we're making the Sims for real,
that was just an example.
We better keep that green diamond thing, okay?
I guess the better example would be Tron.
Okay. Or Reboot.
Yeah, or Reboot, Because, like even now, in Minecraft, you can build a computer to play Tetris.
Yep.
So, like, inside of a computer program, you can nest another computer program to do that. So, like, conceptually, it's all there. We're just not advanced enough to make lifelike simulations yet. But once we are, there's no reason why that lifelike simulation won't eventually become advanced enough to make its own.
Well, that's the important part. Lifelike.
Well, right. But, like, from the perspective of the simulation, it's life.
Yep.
True.
That's the problem. Is like, because if that's possible, then we hit that whole like, we're probably already there. Like, because if it's possible, you hit like infinite possibility very quickly. And then like Tyson says, like, okay, so if you throw a dart at these realities, there's one real one, an infinite number of fake ones. So which one statistically are we in? It's not the real one.
Yeah. But plus, if it's proven that the simulation exists already, the only way we're going to be able to prove that is that we're inside of it. We're not going to be able to go, look, there's a simulation. We're not it. Because the moment that simulation exists, you have to question your own reality.
Yeah. So yeah. Might not be Skynet that destroys us. It'll just be existential dread that we're not real. And then Skynet will destroy us.
I already have existential dread.
Humanity's been facing existential dread since we've been alive.
Since Ugg in the cave made fire.
Exactly.
Or since Prometheus gave it to him, depending on your version of events, I suppose.
Since Ringo Starr figured out how to fry a dinosaur egg.
I guess the simplest explanation... I guess, true, you can't disprove it, but you can't prove it either, so...
Yeah, like you said at the beginning, that is the problem of you can't disprove it, and if it's not disprovable, then you got a problem.
Yeah.
But you can't really prove it either.
Right. That's also like the thing I keep seeing people online, like, oh, prove it, and it's like they're trying to tell someone to prove a negative. You know that it is essentially impossible to prove a negative. And that's how I know those people don't know the first damn thing about science.
Yeah. So, another glitch I'd like to find, if this is simulation, hair glitch.
Glitch.
Yeah.
You wake up one morning, you actually have hair.
No, I'd like to find that glitch where I could get hair back.
It's called Rogaine shit.
But
Join the hair club for men like Cy Sperling. He's not just the president, he's also a client. Or at least he was back in the 80s when he made those commercials. I don't know if he still is. That's a while. His hair's probably great now, even though it's fake. Maybe. I don't know. He could be dead. So I might have killed him, and they had to buy the DD7 to clean up the blood. That was another product that sold on TV back in the 80s and 90s that they advertised can clean up blood. It was one of those like, why are we helping the murderers now?
Wait, did they even like fluoresce it?
No. It was just like a white sheet. They had red on. They used the shit and got it out. So this was before the whole let's run a fluorescent bulb over it idea. No luminol. But if you want to get rid of that, a little pro tip for those of you listening that I really shouldn't tell you in case you don't know, bleach will deal with that. Bleach chemically destroys everything.
Or, just watch Boondock Saints and, ammonia will take care of them being able to determine whose blood it is.
Yeah. So, now that we've probably potentially helped a murderer with their evil plot.
No, I was referencing a movie. You were helping people with evil plots. I was referencing a movie.
I defy them to find DD7. I don't even think they make it. It's like this video I saw. This girl was like, hey, I've tried 5 times to make my hair like this 80s hairstyle. And she's like, it's going to look like this for about 5 more minutes and it's just going to collapse. And it cuts to a guy. He's like, well, first of all, why that hairstyle? That is terrible. You should pick a different one. But second of all, you need something that simply doesn't exist anymore. You need hairspray from the 80s. That was 3 parts rocket fuel. They just don't make that anymore. That was destroying the ozone layer. It was so powerful. We stopped making it. That was like super glue in a can. And it's just you cannot find it anymore. Let me guess, Chad, they still make DD7? Hell yeah.
Amazon. Amazon has everything, Bobbie.
Yeah, but now I can't use it.
Why not? I doubt it gets rid of blood anymore. It is a new and improved formula, though.
Well, it better still get rid of blood then. That was a key selling feature. I don't know if you know this, but a key selling feature of the Tech 9 was that the handle grip couldn't hold fingerprints.
Really?
Yeah. Now ask yourself for one moment why that was ever a feature on that weapon. Just for a moment, the public needs this. No,
yeah.
The public doesn't need this. Armed assailants need this.
DD7 is frequently bought with Grandma's secret spot remover.
Oh, I was expecting knives and ropes and.
No. It is washing machine in a bottle.
All right. Well,
I guess the only thing I have left to say on the simulation front is if perception is reality, what if I just simply perceive that we're not in a simulation?
I don't know. Because essentially that's the argument in the Matrix. Is that once you realize it's a simulation and you thoroughly accept that, then there are no limits. Because that's why Neo could do what he could do.
Yep.
Because the others were still limited. Because on some level, they still believed it was reality. Consciously they knew it wasn't. But that's why Neo could do everything he did, because he knew, to his core, this is all fake. I can do whatever I want.
But that raised the question, is a simulation just a different type of reality?
Well, sure. Simulated reality.
Therefore, what's the point of worrying about it?
I don't know if there is a point. It was just an interesting thing to discuss.
Yep.
Kind of like worrying about a jet engine falling off a plane and smashing you. The odds of it happening are astronomically low.
Or
but it could happen.
Or a chunk of blue ice falling off of the airplane to kill you.
Or a meteorite. There's a woman that survived being hit by a meteorite. It came through the roof of her house, and she was laying on the couch, hit her in the leg. By that point, it's just a tiny rock, but it did it. I think she's the only person on record that survived being hit by a meteorite. like the odds of being hit by a meteorite are so low to begin with.
Yeah.
And then usually it's bigger than that, so it's usually instantly fatal.
Yeah.
It hits you.
It's usually punch hole in body size.
Yeah, but she survived.
Interesting.
Yep. Or kind of like how being struck by lightning, you have an almost 50-50 chance of surviving.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird that the odds are so close to 50-50. Weird.
Yeah, it's Thor playing with you.
No, it's the random number generator. It only had the two choices, so, the odds even out.
Maybe there's the stack overflow.
The lightning.
The simulated lightning's too powerful for the calculation, so when it hits, they can't figure out if it would kill you or not, so it's just a 50-50 chance.
There you go. All right. Well, I think that's probably about anything constructive we're going to have to say on that topic. I think we passed that about 20 minutes ago.
Oh, we probably did. We probably got way off of constructive on that topic shortly after you brought it up.
Yeah, probably. So, anybody have anything else?
No.
Not really.
All right. Want to cover that fourth topic?
What fourth topic? It's one topic apiece. Jimmy's not here, so there's no fourth topic.
I know, it's a joke. Like we'll be here for another hour talking about it, so. And you got to get going. So.
Yeah. Supper's probably waiting.
Yeah. I know it's waiting for me, but I doubt it.
Nope. You're probably going to get a text message here in about 5 minutes. Can you pick up McDonald's?
No, I got McDonald's for lunch. I don't think it's going to be McDonald's. I got a chicken Big Mac. They actually made it right this time.
They're going to ask you to pick up Subway.
No, I had that the other day. McDonald's is the only one that gets a free pass for like multiple times.
Dairy Queen.
I haven't gone to Dairy Queen this week. Maybe. Yeah, so have you had the chicken Big Macs?
No.
You?
No.
Well, it's not just a McChicken patty, right?
No.
It's like a big chicken nugget. It's got the breading and everything like chicken nuggets. It's a different consistency of the chicken. It's actually good. I highly recommend you try one before they go away. And I just got a message yesterday saying, like, this is the last call. So, like, buy it now or forever hold your peace. I got it without cheese because it's a personal preference of mine.
Yeah, I might stop and get a couple.
Because, like, I've gotten two here in LaGuardia. The first one they screwed up. It was just the McChicken. But I was like, I'm going to give this another shot. Because in Bloomington, they get it right. Also, major price discrepancy between Washington and Bloomington. Yeah, the triple cheeseburger is like $3 in Washington. It's like $5 something.
And that IU tax.
I guess, but like the price of everything else are nearly the same. That's one of the only things I found in the menu that's weird like that. I don't know. But yeah, chicken Big Mac. That's good stuff.
And once more in a video, we have narrowed down the possibility of where we live.
Yeah, well, I've said before, I've mentioned Bloomington and elsewhere before, so I think Jim's the only one that's actually mentioned where we actually live one time, and I almost bleeped it out just because.
Just so we can keep going with it?
Well, because I don't want people to know where we are.
Yeah.
I mean, I've only had like one negative comment this entire time, but sooner or later we're going to get another one. It had to do with BattleTech. Guy said something about grown men playing with toys or something. I didn't know how to respond.
What? That's where you go, yes, we are.
Yeah. So. But no, I mean, I've had people disagree. Like, there was one guy as far as like the Star Wars, like, I think actually liked the sequel trilogy.
Oh, cool. Good for him.
I mean, it was. And I said, hey, thank you for actually responding. Like, and I, we went back and forth a few times and told him, I disagree with what you're saying, but I'm interested in hearing it.
I actually didn't hate The Force Awakens.
Oh, I don't hate The Force Awakens. I think it's a retelling of A New Hope that gives a leaping off point for new stories and such. But where they went and then did a 180 from that, no.
If it were divorced from Star Wars, or if it were set way later in the timeline or something, I wouldn't have a huge problem with The Force Awakens. My big problem is, to get from Return of the Jedi to The Force Awakens, you have to basically wreck the setting.
Yeah.
And you have to make the actions of our three main characters null and void. You
Yep.
did it all for nothing. Now, I actually made a video about this like a week or two ago. That could have been an interesting approach if we take into account that, like, Han, Luke, and Leia basically become disillusioned. Like, they were wowed by the stories of the old Republic and everything, and they didn't realize that, like, it fell for a reason because it was too corrupt. That's how Palpatine took control. And then if they rebuild it and it, like, near instantly becomes corrupt again because half the senators are Imperial senators, like, it would be them realizing, we idolized the past too much. Like, we should have tried something else. And now they're having to try to fight the very machinery they put in place while also fighting what's left of the Empire and some rando Sith Lord or whatever.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Like, that could have been good, because it would have been a more adult approach, that, hey, maybe idolizing the past doesn't always work.
Yep.
And to realize, hey, we tried, it didn't work, we have to try something else. That doesn't completely discredit what they did. And, you take that approach. And don't have Han and Leia break up, or maybe you do, but for a different reason. Now it's that Han tried to warn Leia once he saw it was coming. And she was still too involved because she used to be a senator. She's too, like, this can work. And he's like, it can't. We're losing our son. You're never here, et cetera, et cetera. I would not have had Ben go to the dark side. Maybe his friend that Luke is training goes to the dark side. And so now Ben is emotionally invested in trying to redeem him, trying to convince Luke, like, hey, you've told me all these stories about you and your dad. Like, it's possible. Help me. Luke is maybe reluctant. Maybe he's not, And, things like that. And even introduce our new, Rey, Poe, all of them, have them show up. Yeah. Rey is another Force user that they find. Poe is a good pilot. I wouldn't have him, he's too good.
Yep.
But he could be a good pilot. He could be Wedge's son, And then Ben can be a stormtrooper who defects. Like, there's all kinds of story potential there. Like, why did he defect? Is he going to try to convince the others to defect? Or is he going to be able to be like, no, they're too far gone. I'm just got to shoot them. I don't have a choice.
There's potential.
Bit of what happens is he immediately goes to, man, I sure do love shooting these guys.
Yeah. I mean, like you could have done other things. And they just wasted Max von Sydow.
Yeah.
I don't even know who the hell he was supposed to be. Like, oh, she's princess to me. You're dead. Like, he was more criminally underused than Christopher Lee, but not by much. But yeah, it just, like, you could have done so much more with the basic premise of what you have. And then, obviously the other two movies are going to be radically different from there. But hell, even bring Palpatine back. I don't care. He is the villain of the other 6 movies, so why not?
Yeah.
But yeah, you could have done those things, and I think you would have been off to a much better start. Don't hire that boo Brian Johnson, and don't hire J.J. Abrams either. They should have just gotten Steven Spielberg at the end of the day. You should have got Spielberg. Spielberg would have been like, I'm only going to do it if George can come aboard, because he created this universe.
Yeah.
And just let them iron out the trilogy, then they can just ride off into the sunset, and Disney can do whatever the hell they want after that.
There we go.
Yeah. So anyway, totally off topic.
Totally.
And some of the simulated reality that happened. I
wish I was in that one.
Yeah, true.
But in that one,
why did they put me in the boring simulated reality?
Well, we're not in the boring one, Owen.
No, we're in the exciting one.
We are very much living through the Chinese curse of may you live in interesting times. Just we can't talk about them on here because we don't want to talk about politics.
We are in the simulation for war.
You might not be far off.
Like this is a simulation they come to when they want action,
adventure, excitement,
intrigue, society versus society, country versus country.
Perhaps even some skullduggery.
Skullduggery in there. Yep. We don't get the fun one where they're just wanting slice of life.
Yeah.
Or the one where everybody has superpowers that aren't wacky and are backfire.
I'm not so sure I want to live in the superpower universe.
Why not?
Because unless you're like an Omega level mutant, Like, you're just fodder for someone else.
Oh, it's like low-level telekinesis.
There's always a bigger fish.
That's right.
Temperature control.
That's right, Qui-Gon.
Stuff like that. Small powers, not big powers. You know, ones that lead to wacky hijinks, not take over the world.
Yeah, but I mean, that leads to the other. It's like, presumably it's genetic. You get enough random combinations of those genes, you're eventually going to reach that whole, like, oh, and then Professor X shows up, or Magneto, or Apocalypse, or Wonder Man, or Carol Danvers, or somebody, you know. It's like, did you see, it's the movie with Bruce Willis and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, where Bruce Willis is the future version. You know what I'm talking about at all here? Like, is that the look of yes or no? I'm trying to figure it out. You're like a sphinx. I can't read you. Now I'm going to look it up. You're going to extend this even longer now.
I've seen the movie.
What's it called?
I can't remember. No, I can't remember the name of it, Bobbie. The name is not I can't remember.
No, I know that's it. It's like a single word.
But it embraces like all theories on time travel all at once.
Yes, Looper.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so it's like in Looper how you've got those few people that have like minor telekinesis.
Yeah.
They can like move a coin or something.
Somewhat levitate a Zippo lighter.
But then there's the one kid that can like level buildings and things.
And who, turns into a villain because Bruce Willis went back in time, kills his mom in front of him.
Yeah.
And Joseph Gordon-Levitt realizes there's a way to keep that future from happening. Shotgun to the chest.
Yeah, because that's his future self. Yes.
Yep. Spoiler for a not great movie.
I thought it was alright.
It's alright. It's not great.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's great.
If you can diverge yourself from the different approaches to time travel it all takes and like varying points in the movie, it's good. I enjoyed watching it. Well, Bruce Willis and Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
No. Yeah, that's what I thought.
J.J. Abrams.
No.
Rian Johnson.
Yeah.
Makes sense now.
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't keep anything straight
Yeah.
on the logic.
Subverting expectations as much as possible.
You would think with that movie, you would think if you're able to go back and actually affect the future, you just hack off a guy's legs about, at the thighs, can't walk anymore.
Well, that's what they did to the one guy.
No, they started cutting off body parts until his future self went to a certain spot.
Yeah.
But he would literally be standing there and be like, oh, I need to get going. That's gone. Oh, crap.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the problem, is that, like...
You wouldn't get that scene of him losing it. He would go back to the past and he would immediately be going there because he remembers, oh, crap. Or, he wouldn't be able to fight and get free to go anywhere.
Right, because he would have never made it to the point in the future where he time traveled back.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I say it had to embrace, like, all the ideas to make it work. Yeah. Yeah, I thought Jeff Daniels was the most interesting character.
Oh, yeah.
The guy who's from the future, who knows what's going to happen, but also knows that he has to, like, hide, essentially.
Yep.
So that he doesn't affect things. Basically, like, runs everything for the mob in the past.
Yep.
Yeah. Like when he was trying to tell Joseph Gordon-Levitt, trust me, you want to go to China. Like, from the future, remember? And it's like, oh, yeah. So, you ever see that movie, Owen?
No.
Watch it.
It's good.
It's worth a watch.
Yes, some of Rian Johnson's movies aren't bad. He could have made a good Star Wars.
Yeah, like Knives Out.
Knives Out was good. Glass Onion was okay. I thought Knives Out was better. But Glass Onion does give us the great clip, though. Daniel Craig at the end of the movie, he's like, it's just dumb. And they're like, so dumb it's genius. It's like, no, it's just dumb. Yeah, I have that on a meme picture whenever management's trying to tell you about their new idea.
Well,
yeah. Sorry, Owen. We're definitely just dragging things out now. So
we are.
All right. So
this
guys,
happens.
So are we good then?
Yep.
I think we are.
All right. Well, in that case, Sounds like it's time to sign off here. So thank you folks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, comment down below, all that fun stuff. Sharing and commenting seem to be the best ways to help us spread everything here with the channel, and we thank you folks who've been doing that.
Yeah, give us your thoughts on the simulation situation.
Yes, or any of what we talked about. Yeah, that's about all we got. So it's time to adjourn this meeting of the Geek Cabal, and we will catch you folks later.
See ya.
You can say goodbye.
Goodbye, folks.
All right.